Hello everyone, this is Manoj Sharma. I am your mentor in the field of mathematics. Well, as you know that CBSE has introduced a new pattern of examination that deals only with the multiple choice question. You will be given an OMR sheet on which you have to mention your correct answers. Well, in this type of examination, there is a big risk if you are not clear and thorough with the concepts. Concepts has to be crystal clear, thorough and to the point. Well, these multiple choice questions has 4 options, and out of the 4 options, only one is correct. So either you'll get a 1 mark or you'll get a 0 marks. Unlike the other examination where we get a step marking, in this kind of questions, we don't get a step marking. To enhance that particular skill, I have made a multiple choice question paper where we will be discussing why a particular answer has to be a correct type and other are not the correct one. So moving further with these kind of questions, let's start with our multiple choice question. I have chosen a topic known as derivative. This is a vast topic which requires a thorough skills, thorough knowledge and thorough practice. So as you can see in this first question, we have been given y is equal to a cos log x. Here e is mentioned, e is the base. Whether you write it or you don't write it, it does not make any sense because in the derivative we are dealing only with the log to the base e. Then we have sine, and you must be knowing that these two functions always repeat itself whenever there is a second order derivative. So suppose we have a y which is a cos x, so dy by dx is going to be a minus sine x, right? Afterwards, if I move to the second order derivative, it is going to be a minus of cos x. That means if y is equal to cos x is there, then I am getting a second order derivative same as y, but what is the change? The change is minus. So here the answer is y. It is not possible that you will get a 0 as an answer because it's not a constant, it's a variable. Since cos x, log x all are differentiable functions, so this is also going to be incorrect one. So our options are left with the y or with the minus y. And if we have this much concept thorough in our mind that what is going to be correct, it is y or minus y. I have just taken a simple one. I have not taken all these concepts. I am just saying that if we have a concept like y is equal to cos x, second order derivative will end up at minus cos x. So minus is most probable and a correct answer. This we are supposed to know. I hope this fundamental is correct, and afterwards we will be moving to the next question. Now question 2, we have y is equal to e to the power 10x, and then we have in the answer it is cos square x, y2 we need to find out its value. First of all, we have to see that 4 options has been given. One is none of this, which mostly you people click, or 1 or 0. But here in all the question it is either 1 plus sine 2x, 1 minus sine 2x, another part is minus 1 plus sine 2x. So first of all, in this kind of question you cannot do any guesswork. You have to go for derivative of e to the power 10x, and once you do this derivative, it is y1 into e to the power is equal to e to the power 10x into sec square x. Now this sec square x is not being required for a simple reason. We have been given a cos square x, so just on interchanging sec square x as a cos square x, we'll get y1 into cos square x as y. Why I have changed this e to the power 10x as y? Because we do not require any sort of cos to the power 4x, because if we differentiate again we'll move to the cos to the power 4x. Now I again differentiate. This differentiation is y2 and cos square x as it is. But further moving, we'll get y1 into 2 cos x into sin x, and this is with the negative sign. For a simple reason, derivative of cos x is going to be the negative 1, and this y as a y dash, right? y1 is already there, or you can say it is a y dash. So if I shift to this particular side, this value is going to be required. So if I shift it to the other side, you can automatically find that this is going to be 1 plus 2 sin x cos x, and 2 sin x cos x gives me this as a answer. So I hope you are finding it interesting and moreover productive and more knowledgeable. Moving on to the third question, where concept is theoretical, you need not to find some sort of solution, some kind of linking or something else. It's purely a theoretical concept. Now in this theoretical concept, we have to see that there has been a concept of a differentiation, continuity, then why we need not to calculate over here. Now I'll give you some brief hints, like any function is differentiable or continuous in its domain. Am I right? Algebraic function, like here we have an algebraic function, it is continuous, it is also differentiable. But whenever we talk about this special function of mod x is not differentiable, although it is continuous. So we have been talking about differentiability, so this option has to be cut out. We have been discussing about this second order derivative and first order derivative. It might be true, it might not be true, but when we talk about this particular thing, it is going to be sure shot. Let me add something, that every function is continuous in its domain. If f is continuous, g is continuous, f plus g is also continuous, f minus g is also continuous, f into g is also continuous, and f upon g is also continuous, provided g has not to be equal to 0. And moreover, you have to see that they will be continuous even if we talk about FOG or GOF. So in most of the question, you may get log mod x, where you have to use this concept of continuity. Log x is one function and mod x is another function. You may take one as f, one another as g, and you can move further with these kind of questions. Moving further with the question 4 also belongs to the same category, that is continuity and differentiability, and here we have been asked about the points of discontinuity. Normally if you see NCERT books, they basically talk about the continuity of the function. Here they have discussed about the points of discontinuity, and all the probable answers has been given, and mostly a student writes is 1, 3, and he mentioned 1 and 3. But let us check for the continuity. You know that we have to check left hand side of the function, we have to check at the right hand side of the function, and we have to check at the point where the function has to be same. If it is same throughout left hand side, right hand side, and at the point, then function is going to be a continuous function. So let's check for x is equal to 1. If I put, I'll get 1. If I put x is equal to 1 over here, I'll get 1. Okay, let's see, at 1 it is continuous, so this option is going to be incorrect, right? And this option is also going to be incorrect. Let's check x is equal to 3. Now if I put x is equal to 3 over here, I'll get 0 in this question we have to see that what kind of concepts are being used. The concept are simple, that we need a second order derivative. Once a derivative is of types sine and cos, they are going to repeat itself in the question. Now we were here at this question, and this question is again of the type second order derivative, and in second order derivative you have to see that what is going to repeat is the sine function as well as the cos functions are going to repeat itself. Like if I take y as a cos mx, then y dash is minus sine mx, and if I go for second order derivative, it is minus, again here m was missed, it was m square sine mx. Now you see that from m to m square we have landed, and negative is also there. So if you see that these questions, these possible answers are invalid, only we get original, either n square or minus n square. So which one is the correct one? It is minus n square x, because Rowe's theorem has been deducted. Now again the mean value theorem has been removed, so the concept remains very less. We have to check some quantity, some differentiability, some higher order, some parametric form, some logarithmic questions. Now if you see this sixth question is quite lengthy, need lot of calculation skills, but if you have a common sense, then you can really do this question in a awesome manner. Now we know that sin x upon x is 1, so if I multiply only this part with a plus 1 and divide by a plus 1, we will be left behind with a plus 1, and sin x upon x is already 1, so it is basically a plus 2, and since the function is continuous, it is going to be c. But the problem is I will not get a complete value of a and c. Here some a and c has been given, and if you put some values like c is equal to half, you won't get a as minus 3 by 2, or you may get a as minus 3 by 2. But you have to put the values, and almost all the values seems to be correct. If you put c as a minus half, if I put c as a minus half and a will be minus 2, sorry, a will be minus half minus 2, so you will not get a as minus 3 by 2. This is automatically rejected. But the problem is b is 1, and here I could see all possible values. None of these, I can't say none of this cannot be possible. So seeing this, b is in the denominator, do you think the denominator can be 0? So if it is not 0, this value has to be ideally incorrect. So with a fast calculation, this is the most probable answer which we need to check it out. Right. Now if I discuss about the solving of this, you know, these are need to be rationalized, but here in the rationalization we have to only rationalize the numerator part, not the denominator one. And it is obvious that denominator cannot be 0, so b has all real values except 0, so this is going to be ideal answers, and you can simplify and get the answer, and this is the D part is correct one. Now if you again see that question number 7 has its own problem. He says derivable, and mind you that differentiability test and derivable are both basically same, but in the differentiability test we go for a long type of questions which we sorted out. In question 7th, students always go with the differentiability concept, but you have to simply check that if they are derivable, differentiable, and they have to be a left hand derivative has to be equal to the right hand derivative. And if I differentiate this, I'll get 2ax, and if I differentiate this, I'll get this as 1, and at x is equal to 1, this a is 1 upon 2x, but x is 1, so without long calculations we have reached to this target. So this is an important one. You need to play tricks, you have to be thorough with your concepts, then only you can hit the iron. Okay, now normally in this kind of questions, you have a concept of a parametric form where dy by dt is basically 2at and dx by dt is only 2a, and for dy by dx we need to divide these both, right? These are the basic thing which, that is t. But he says the second order derivative at x is equal to half. The second order derivative is d2y by dx square, and this is normally student write 1, which is wrong because we are differentiating t with respect to x. It is dt upon dx, and dt upon dx is nothing but the reciprocal of this. So 1 upon 2a is the correct answer. Now you see we have got a 40 questions need to be done in 90 minutes, right? So I'll approximately calculate is 2 minutes something something seconds, but you know, in board examination you also have some sort of stress, and I think you should be knowing it, that how to deal with the stress. So some time has to be there, your target has to be like somewhere 80 minutes or so. Then only you can be very fast in the calculation, very fast in your correcting the answers. So we'll be moving with the further newer and innovative concepts. Now here in the 14th question we have been given a function of function. Instead of e to the power x we have been given e to the power mod x. Now this e to the power mod x is continuous, but it is not differentiable because for a simple reason, this is not differentiable. So it is continuous everywhere, but not differentiable. For these kind of questions, one suggestion is there that you need not to solve these questions. You have to use your brains, you have to apply your brains just to go with the theoretical parts. Theoretical parts has to be very, very strong. In the simpler type of questions, we have question number 15th, and this question number 15, that fx is divided into two parts when x is not equal to 0, when x is equal to 0. When x is not equal to 0, we have to see whether they are continuous and differentiable, or whether they are not continuous or not differentiable, and vice versa, like these kind of things. Now let us check it out. We know all functions are continuous in their domain, but when we talk about 1 minus cos x, it has to be a half angle formula. This is 2 sine square x by 2, and x remains x. In this sine x has to be deal like this, sine x upon x, we are dividing it by x because we know that standard limit form sine x upon x, limit x tends to 0 is 1. So it is like this. Now this is going to be 1, and if you simplify this, sine square x by 2 with x by 2 whole square, yani that means we have divided by 4, then we have to multiply by this, and this comes out to be as a half. So it is continuous. But do you think we need to check whether it is a differentiable or whether it is not a differentiable one? Now here I will not say that you will use the left hand side derivative and right hand side derivative and then you check it out, and that may lead to also a long calculations, and that may lose our marks because we will be losing the time into that. Now every function is continuous in its domain, and product of two functions, if both are continuous and both are differentiable, is going to be differentiable. And moreover, if you don't think about these kind of concepts, you can simply differentiate this function. It can be easily differentiable, right? So this function is continuous as well as differentiable because no special function is being involved into this. So ideally you have to use your brains at that particular level, right? Again, in this 17th question, we have a special function that is known as greatest or greater integer function. In greater integer function, if I put an integer value 2, I'll get 2, right? And if I put 3.1, because its name is greatest integer, I'll get output as integer, but this integer has to be less than equal to 3.1. For this particular reason, at 3.9, output is not 4, the output is 3, because this has to be less than 3.9, and once if I write 4, this 4 is not correct one, right? And even if you think that you put 1, you will get 1, that's correct. But what about, he says continuous. In continuous we need to check at the left hand side limit, right hand side limit, and we have to check at the point also. If all the threes are equal, then only it's a continuous function. So if I'll put 1 minus, it is going to be 0. If I put 4 plus, we get 4, but 4 minus we get 3, so this is removed. Minus 2, then we get not as minus 2 minus is going to be minus 3. So this one is the correct answer. And you can see it's an odd man out. All are integers, whether it's a positive or negative, but 1.5 is not an integer. So it is basically greatest integer function is a continuous function if we deal only with the non-integral parts, right? So this was the concept which we were using. So let's refresh this page first, then we can add on to the 18th question. Again, these kind of questions are again dealing with the special functions, and we are just trying to make your calculation faster, more authenticate, more accurate, which will be using most of the logics, most of the theories. Okay. Now this question, we have variable to the power variable, and you know, once we are dealing with a variable to the power variable like x to the power y, we need to solve it only by the method of taking log. You have to take log on the both sides, and then only you can reach to the final answers. That means there is logical thinking not required, only simplification is required. You have to take, it is y log x, and then you have x minus y log e, and log e is nothing but it is 1 only, then only you can deal with this question. And once we move on to the question number 19th, it gives us a hint that it is of the type x upon mod x upon x, or of the type x upon mod x. Obviously here the limit, if you see in the NCERT, it tends to 0. For 0 minus, I use 0 minus h, and this function, type of function, is not continuous at x is equal to 0. Now if you see, this portion basically become minus of 1 once you solve the type of question like x upon mod x, and x is less than 0, and here x is less than 4. You will get x minus 4 as a minus 1 plus a, which is equal to a plus b. So a will be cancelled out, and b is equal to minus of 1, right? So you can see b of minus 1, then a is automatically going to be 1. But let's see, here again it is 1 because this portion is 1, because previously it was minus 1 because of the limit. Now it is 1 plus b is equal to a plus b. Now you can see automatically that a is 1. Although the question is being arranged like this, if b is minus 1, you are calculating in a right manner, then automatically a is going to be correct one, right? Again, next question is basically a simple one where you are supposed to check its continuity only at 1. So directly doing with this, a plus b is equal to 4, right? A plus b equals to 4. Nothing else we can do, because left hand side is equal to right hand side. But at the point it is 4 has been given, so just we are placing the 4. But he says it cannot, what are the values for which it is discontinuous function? That is an important turn into this kind of question. But again I will say, हर question कुछ कहता है, मेरे अंदर मेरा solution रहता है. That means answers lies itself in the question. So a plus b is equal to 4. We have to see individually that 2 and 2 will make it 4. That is correct. 2 can be there. If you put a as 3 and BS1 again it is going to be 4, right? So this is going to be satisfied. Now this also is going to be satisfied. If you put A as 4 and B as 0, it is going to be satisfied. But let's see what about 5 2. So 5 2, if you put A as 5 and B as 2, it is going to be 7, and this 7 is not going to be equal to 4. So this is not recommended. So at this particular points 5 and 2, this function is going to be a discontinuous. All the other values will be satisfying the points and our conditions, but at x is equal to 5, sorry, a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 2, it is not going to justify. Well, do give me feedback that how did you like the solving of these kind of questions. I have marked only those questions which requires both the skills. If simply it is the calculation work, I have avoided those questions. Do give me feedback that how do you like it, and any suggestions which are here for the improvement are most welcomed. This is Manoj Sharma now signing off. Thanks a lot.